guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be installing some custom headlights. This video is going to be on a 2013 Genesis Coupe, but the steps are nearly identical for all your Genesis from 2010 to 2016. As for the lights we're installing, these are a fully custom set of headlights on my personal car here, and we have a BlueGhozt harness and as well as a Demon Eye harness. So we use two separate harnesses so you're able to control them individually. The installation is 99% plug and play. I try to make this as simple as possible for the customer. You won't have to, tap into any wires or anything too complicated like that. Pretty much the most difficult part is, unbolting some 10mm and attaching the battery terminals. You're able to get away with this installation without taking the bumper, although today we will be taking it off, but I will show the method and a quick, easy way that you can install these headlights without taking off the bumper. The tools that you'll need for this installation are fairly minimal. We have a 10mm socket, we have a Phillips head screwdriver, a bumper clip remover, some zip ties, a pair of snips for the zip ties, and nice to have is some dielectric grease. Although for the connections, I do pre-apply this, so you don't necessarily have to worry about that. And last but not least, of course, you'll need your custom set of headlights. You should also be provided with a BlueGhozt module if enabled, and as well as a Demon Eye harness if applicable. With the hood open, we can then disconnect the battery. Since we're working with electronics as a precautionary step, I always like to disconnect the battery, loosen off the terminal here for the positive and then for the negative side. Take that, and from there you can disconnect positive first, stick that down there, get it out of the way, and then with the negative, get that out of the way as well. So for the first method, it is possible to remove these headlights from the car and get your lights installed without removing the front bumper. To do that, we'll need a 10mm socket along with a bumper clip remover. First thing we're going to do is remove the two 10mm bolts. Next, we're going to go ahead and loosen the top part of the bumper here. You can do that by getting out these clips. They are Phillips head, but I find they're pretty much useless. So just go ahead in there with the bumper clip remover. With the clips removed, we're going to go ahead and remove this intake part. Next, what I like to do is just loosen up the bumper a little bit here. There is a little slotted area here. So you just want to lift that up and make sure it's pulled out. Once we remove the headlight, you can play with this a little bit more. With everything loosened up, next thing I do is I take the bumper clip remover and I just pry it here, loosen up the headlight a little bit. There is clips on the bottom, so that's why I have to do this. When it comes to getting the headlight out, it can be a little bit tricky. If you find it too difficult and you're worried about damaging something, just go ahead and take the bumper off, which I'll be showing in the next method. But as for getting it out, we either want to get this corner out first or this corner. It can depend, whatever you think is easier. So what we'll do is we'll just loosen it up. It's good to get the bottom clips out first. You just want to work it a little bit. Go. So with that out, we just undo this clip here at the back. And there we go, we got the headlight out. From there you can do the other side. As for the wiring with this method, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to lift this up and try to zip tie the wires underneath so it runs all the way across here to the other side. The main thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to have the wires touching the radiator or anywhere that's going to get hot. So I'm going to be switching to the other method now where we do take off the front bumper if you want to do that instead. So for this method, we're going to be taking off the front bumper. To do that, we want to loosen and take out these bumper clips here. We can remove this entire piece like that. Take these ones out as well. And to remove the front bumper, we also need to take a Phillips head screwdriver or 8mm bolt, I believe. And we want to remove this bolt here, as well as the bumper clips underneath on the underside trim. So let's go ahead and do that and get on with the install. With the fasteners loosened, we can now start to remove the front bumper. What I like to do is start over here, just pull that out like that. Then I go to the other side and repeat the same. With that done, we go on the bottom side of the headlight. There's another clip there. Go to the other side, repeat the same. Pretty much you just want to go back and forth until you work yourself to the center clips. And then on the center, go ahead, pull up. And then pull the bumper out. Next thing you want to do is just disconnect the fog lights if you have them. And just like that, we got our bumper off and disconnected, and we can get out of the way. Next, we can take out the headlight with our 10mm socket, and that's just 2 bolts here along the top. With those bolts undone, we can then pull out the light and disconnect it from the back. So to start, we're going to be installing our BlueGhozt module and harness. Quick overview, we have the positive and negative for the battery terminals. We have an inline fuse here. We have the module itself with the power converter. Here we have 2 different connections. One is for the passenger side, which is the shorter wire, and then for the driver side, we have the longer side. So we're going to go ahead and install this. As for the placement, I usually position it somewhere in here on the bottom of the passenger side headlight. So we'll go ahead and leave that there for now. We'll take our longer connection for the driver's side light, and we want to run that along the front. For the driver's side wire, what I like to do is have the wire come out of this area right here. And what we're going to be doing is zip tying the wire along the pre-existing wires all the way down here behind the crash bar, all the way along through here, and then up through the same area on the driver's side headlight. So this be right here. So let's go ahead and do that and get this zip tied and cleaned up. So the BlueGhozt module does have screw holes there, so we're able to get a zip tie through there and then secure it right to this line here, just so it's in place and it's not going anywhere. Next, we're going to install the power lines with the provided terminal connectors. As for running the wire, what I like to do is run it along the left side here and up around here. What I don't recommend is going underneath and closer to the motor and around here. Reason why is you're getting closer to the turbo and the engine itself, so that can get hot. So you just want to watch out for that and run it along here underneath this reservoir and through there like that. Excuse my dirty engine bay, by the way. This is what we get for getting our cars oil sprayed in Canada. Just like that, we got our terminals up near the battery. Next, I'm going to be showing the install for the demon eyes. If you don't have demon eyes, you can go ahead and skip to the next part where we'll be connecting and powering up the modules, and I'll be showing you how to do the final installation and putting in the lights. Next, let's install the demon eyes. This is the harness and controller. Looks like a lot of wires, but it's not too bad. We have the Bluetooth controller box here, positive and negative battery terminals with the inline fuse as well. This goes off to heat shrink connections that are already installed for you. Don't have to worry about that. These are the driver boxes. If you have 2 demon eyes, you'll have 2 boxes. If you got 4, you'll have 4 like this packaged together, 1 off to each side. Doesn't matter what side you connect these, they're both the same length. So in this case, we're going to have 2 wires running to the passenger side and 2 to the driver side. So similar to the BlueGhozt, we're going to have the controller box positioned down here under the passenger side headlight. We're going to leave some boxes here that will be making this a bit neater later. But for the meantime, we're going to cut these zip ties here so we get the full length. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be running it across the front crossbar behind, zip tying it exactly the same as the BlueGhozt. Next, we're going to take the battery terminals and run them up along here. Same path we took for the BlueGhozt, straight to the battery. For the connections on the back, this waterproof connector here with the screw-on cap. This is for the BlueGhozt module. These 2 wires here we have are for the demon eyes, if you have it. For the connections here, we'll start with the demon eyes just because they're longer and they have a little bit more play. The demon eyes have pre-applied dielectric grease along with glue-lined heat shrink tubing. So let's go ahead and connect those and get the heat shrink shrunk. To connect the BlueGhozt, I'm going to take the connector here. If you have it, a nice to have is some dielectric grease. Doesn't hurt to put some on, and you would just apply that to the pins there. As for actually connecting it, you just want to make sure you follow the arrows at the top there, match it up with the connector, push it in. I know it's a little bit tough, so you want to make sure that you want to do this when the light is not installed yet to make things a lot easier for yourself. Push it on nice and firm, bring this down, and then we'll screw it in and make a tight connection. Now that the connections are made, I'm just going to clean up this wiring a little bit. I want to fold it in on itself and take a zip tie, get it nice and clean. When you're doing this, you just want to make sure you have the light in a secure place. Last thing you want to do is drop a set of lights. There you go, we got that zip tied up. And now we can go ahead and install the light. When you're doing this, you just want to make sure you don't pinch any wires or anything like that. If it feels like it doesn't want to go in, take it off and reassess what's going on. You don't want to force anything in. There we go, we have the light installed with all the connections, including the factory harness itself. And now let's go ahead and repeat the same for the other side. Doing this side, you have quite a bit more wires, but you also have more room, which is nice. So as for positioning the modules and everything, you want to get it down into this crevice here. And what I like to do is zip tie everything up and make sure it's in a nice and neat bundle. For the final connections, we're going to take the battery terminals and connect them right here to where the bolt tightens down onto the terminal. So we just want to put the terminals onto the battery just like that. Tighten it. Let's get it. So it's ready to be connected. So take the positive, put it onto the battery just like that. Then we take the negative, put on the other terminal, tighten it down. I know it says connect ground wire first, but in my experience, this method is just fine. Then we just want to clean up these wires and get them zip tied up. And zip tie it to the fuse box as well to make sure everything's in place and not going to move. There you go, we have the terminals connected. I'll show you the wiring just how I have the wire ran. Straight down here beside the fuse box, zip tied. There we go, and now we have the lights installed. For the next step, we're going to download the BlueGhozt app as well as the Demon Eye app. And we're just going to make sure that the lights are recognizable. Another good thing to do is just power up your car and ensure all the OEM functions work. The low beam, high beam, turn signals, four ways, everything. Just want to make sure everything is connected and ready to go. Once you verify that all the functions are working and it is recognizable by that, you can go ahead and start to reassemble your bumper if you've taken it off. In the next section, I'm going to show you a quick start guide for the BlueGhozt and Demon Eyes. In order to connect to your guys' lights, you're going to want to download the BlueGhozt app. I'll have the link in the description for both iOS and Android. So first thing you want to do when you open up the app is make sure that you can see your devices here. We're going to be connecting to the headlights. If you don't see it, you can always give it a refresh and see if it's there. If you don't see it by chance, you just want to double check the connections and make sure that everything's connected to the battery properly. So to start, we're going to connect to the headlights here. You have the ability to set up a pin so no one else can connect to your device but yourself. But for now, we're just going to skip this step. You want to make sure your Bluetooth is enabled and press pair. And you see it's loading the connection here at the bottom. There we go, we're connected. If it's your first time setting up the app, you won't see any show modes. But to get you guys started, what you can do is you can click plus. You can see your show modes here. So you can name it whatever you'd like. As for the actual preset show modes, you have quite a lot of options. These are updated periodically, so you may have new show modes in the future, but for now, this is what we've got. For example, the most popular one is by far Kaleidoscope. This is your classic rainbow show mode here. The way that this works is that you can change the scale. This is how big the color blocks are. For each mode, these sliders can do something different, so you just want to play around and get it to what you like. You have the color shift, it's another setting there, the dimness, and then below here, these are the 6 colors that are included in that show mode. So for example, if you want to remove the purple out of the color spectrum, we now are missing purple. You can keep removing it or add whatever colors you like. For the Kaleidoscope, most people just want every color it comes with. But for example, if you have the parade show mode, you see it's going red, yellow, and then green. But if you only want a red, for example, you'd remove the colors to the point where it's only red. Sorry, it's a little bit difficult to do here through the camera, just like that. So that's the main basis of how you can add some show modes. So once you find what you like, name it what you like, and then you'll see it added down here to the bottom. Once you have a few show modes built up, what you can do is you can click this tab here that looks like a list. So you can select multiple show modes that you have set up. For example, we have 5 here. Set the time to 5 seconds, for example, and we can press start. And then for this, it'll go through these 5 selected show modes, cycling through them every 5 seconds. This tab here is where you can play around with your turn signals, parking lights. That's pretty much it for the headlights here. You know, you have lots of different options for the turn signal animations, as well as startup animations here. You can change the size and the speed of all that. This tab here, this is how your lights are programmed. It's recommended to not mess around with this. I always program them for the best possible show modes. But if you do happen to change something, you just want to make sure you screenshot it. This way you can always revert back to the previous settings if you get in a jam. Other tabs here, you don't have to worry about that. Settings, this is all preset. You can change the nickname of the headlights if you'd like. And then this is just your Bluetooth connections. So that's just a main overview of the BlueGhozt app. I do have a more in-depth video coming out soon But for now, this is all you need to know to get started. As for connecting to your Demon Eyes, you're going to want the Magic Light BLE app. Same thing as BlueGhozt. I'll have the link in the description so you're able to download that on your iOS or Android device. So when you first open up the app, you're going to see a homepage like this. And you just want to refresh. I already have my Demon Eyes added here, but you may see something like Add Device and you just want to click Add. From there, you can change the name of it. For here, I have LightExcel. If you don't see your Demon Eyes, you're going to want to follow these next steps. In order to connect to your Demon Eyes, what you're going to want to do is locate the fuse on the power line running to the Demon Eye module. You just want to pop open this cap here. And what you're going to do is remove this fuse, wait 10 seconds, and then reinstall the fuse. From there, you want to connect and refresh the app within 30 seconds. And then from there, you'll be able to see your Demon Eye module. From there, you just connect, and you should be good to go. To power up your Demon Eyes, you just want to press the power button here on the right. This will switch on your Demon Eyes. If we click through here, we can change the color of the Demon Eyes on the color wheel here to whatever we like, and these are just static colors. If you find a color that you like, you can just add it to DIY here, and this will add it to your quick select here at the bottom. You can change things such as your brightness. You don't have to worry about this. This is just the white color mode. Functions has preset show modes, 7 color crossfade, just cycles through all the colors. So you can play around here and find what show modes you like. You can also go to music. It just uses the microphone on your phone. There's some other custom settings where you can set up your own show mode, but we won't get into that for today. And camera, you just point it at something and it'll match the color as closely as it can to whatever you're shooting. So that's pretty much it for the Demon Eyes. That concludes the install video. If you have any questions about the installation or any sort of connectivity to the app, anything like that, don't hesitate to reach out and I'll help you the best that I can. I'm always here to help, and if you need anything, all you have to do is send me a message or an email.